Has anyone seen Ted Cruz or Governor Abbott? Because I certainly haven't. Everything that you've been told so far about what happened in the school shooting, set it aside. As we've become accustomed to, the story just keeps changing. Here's the latest version of what happened on that day.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre. 3 minutes after the subject entered the West Building, there was a sufficient number of armed officers wearing body armor to isolate, distract, and neutralize the subject.
Within 3 minutes, they had everything they needed to put a stop to the slaughter of these kids. 3 minutes.
The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children.
This is standard practice for police in the United States of America. Protect the lives of the cops above all else. Welcome to America.
The officers had weapons, the children had none. The officers had body armor, the children had none. The officers had training, the subject had none.
This is yet again another example of where the cops have the overwhelming advantage, but yet it's still not enough. Even the remote possibility of any injuries to the cops must not be tolerated under any circumstance. If kids have to die, then it's their fault for being in school in the first place. After all the shootings we've had in this country, what business does any kid have being in school? It's their fault. The Uvalde shooting was an absolute success. Not a single police officer was killed. And that is priority number one. Unfortunate that the kids died, but protecting kids, not in the job description, apparently. And I know Officer Tatum will back me up on that one.
1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. That's how long the children waited and the teachers waited in rooms 111 to be rescued.
Now, I don't know where that number comes from, 14 minutes. There was a delay of, I believe, over an hour last time I heard. So I don't know what specific span of time he's referring to as far as the 14 minutes, perhaps. I'm going to make an assumption here since you referenced the police officers being armored and having shields. I'm assuming that it's 14 minutes since they were there. So you had officers that were on scene with shields or whatever, and it took them 14 minutes to actually rescue the kids. I'm assuming that that's what he's referring to. So the hour plus would have been from beginning to end. But still, again, I don't know why the story is always so many holes in the story, because in this thing, he says within 3 minutes, they could have put a stop to this. So within 3 minutes, he could have put a stop to this, but then it took 14 minutes to put a stop to it. So a total of 17 minutes? I'm going to guess. Close to an hour. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. I was saying close to an hour. They were waiting for people to show up. And then the last 17 minutes consisted of officers arriving on scene with the shields, ready to go in. But instead of going in, they delay an additional 14 minutes before going in and stopping the shooter. That's the only thing I can think of. But again, this clashes with what he said in the beginning. He said within 3 minutes, I believe he said, of the shooter getting in the building, they could have stopped it. So even this guy who's hammering the police officers, somehow the timeline is like so problematic. I don't understand why no one can get us a solid timeline that makes any sense. right? It's always something that's not adding up. Is anyone here telling us the unadulterated truth about what actually happened? What an absolute disaster from beginning to end. From how this kid managed to crash his car in the first place, and nobody's talking about that, to crashing the car and getting visibility of teachers seeing like what's going on, to firing at the people across the street, more visibility for the school and police and others to see what's going on and stop this kid, to somehow getting in the building even though the door was supposedly locked, but then it wasn't locked, to officers that were supposed to be on the campus but weren't on campus, to the officers showing up and then not getting in there and stopping this guy, to the hanging out and waiting, and some cops going in and rescuing their kids and then harassing parents and stopping them from going in, to whatever nonsense about the door, can't get the door, they need a key, didn't get the key right away, to communication from beginning to end. He was confronted outside. No, he wasn't confronted outside. The Border Patrol agent killed him. And then the other officers killed him. Wait, who killed him? There was a rock in the door, left a rock in the door. Wait, no rock? There was an officer on campus. No, not on campus. What? It took him over an hour. No, 14 minutes. They didn't have any weapons and shields. No, they had weapons and shields. Oh, the guy didn't want to go in with the radio because the radio somehow doesn't have a belt clip. It's too heavy. It's going to make noise. Earpieces? What's that? To the politics. DeSantis and Abbott. Oh, this is not right. This is sad for families and prayers and prayers. Beto. Oh, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. Right wing. Oh, he's grandstanding. Then when we find out that the cops screwed up, this Abbott and Cruz disappear. The people who were calling out Beto for grandstanding got nothing to say about that fake-ass press conference, pretending to care, thoughts and prayer bullshit. More heat for Beto than for this scumbag that killed these kids. But that's not political theater. Political theater is Beto standing up and saying some bullshit. That's the problem. Not the absentee governor and senator.
And while they waited, the on-seat commander waited for a radio and rifles. Then he waited for shields. Then he waited for SWAT. Lastly, he waited for a key that was never needed.
A key that was never needed. Every single part of the story keeps changing and changing and changing. Who's going to put their feet down and demand answers? Are any politicians going to pay any prices for their inaction? Nope.
The post-Columbine doctrine is clear and compelling and unambiguous. Stop the killing, stop the dying. You can't do the former unless you can't do the latter unless you do the former. Certainly, some things were done well, and even very well. The teachers quickly implemented active shooter protocols prior to the subject gaining entry. In fact, one teacher was able to call 911 and report that before the subject entered the campus.
Remember how we were told that the teachers screwed up, left the door open? You could have all these rules and everything, but you know, the teachers, man, is it so hard to close a door? And now we find out the teachers did their jobs. It's the thin blue line. Back to blue. Blue lives matter. Let me see your wallet. Oh, is that a gun? Oh, it actually was a wallet. My bad. I'm sorry I killed you. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Will we ever see the body cam footage? Are the Republican voters in Texas, going to sit quietly and allow this to go unpunished. If I fail majorly at my job, I will very likely have to suffer major consequences. These officers failed majorly beyond any failure that I could accomplish. People died as a result of their action. What consequences will they have? If I make a major mistake, clients lose money. These officers make a mistake, 19 people die. What price will they pay? Are they above the law? Are they above accountability? Comment below. I can't believe you just watched this whole goddamn video and didn't bother to click on the like button. Wow. Feed that algorithm.